For today's EyeSwoon Unplugged, I'm gonna make a dish for you that I made last night that I absolutely loved. It's the hanger steak with caramelized and roasted endive and mashed potatoes. For some reason, it's a recipe that I haven't made very often since I developed it, and I was blown away by the deliciousness, the simplicity, and the flavors. So I'm gonna take you through that process. I'm gonna share with you some tips about the importance of a marinade, as well as some of the kind of flavor building tenets of a marinade. You also always want to marinate at least 1 to 2 hours, but also overnight to really infuse flavor. You always want something acidic, as it's really going to tenderize the meat. You want to build flavor with either garlic or a shallot, and you always want something herbaceous and something bright and zippy like lemon or balsamic, and I'm going to use some rosemary. So I'm going to take you through this process of this deliciously simple recipe right now. All right, let's get this marinade started. I'm going to start with these rosemary leaves. We've got some balsamic vinegar. We've got some Dijon mustard. I have 4 garlic cloves that I'm going to mince. A marinade will always help you tenderize your meat. And this one has kind of all of some of my favorite flavors. We've got the balsamic vinegar. We've got some brightness with some lemon zest, a little bit of heat from the habanero, garlic, the hearty rosemary. With any marinade, 1 to 2 hours, I would say minimum, but you could always do it overnight as well. We've got all of the elements here. I'm gonna add some olive oil, and then I'm gonna pop the hanger steaks in. I also wanted to share that as I was reading the recipe and making the recipe last night, one thing that's in the mashed potatoes is roasted garlic. And whatever, chalk it up to kind of being maybe a little bit more green than I might have wanted to admit to. But I really think that roasting the garlic for the mashed potatoes is an unnecessary step. So when I made this recipe last night, I omitted that step. I just found it to be strange to have to turn your oven on and roast the garlic. It just seemed like an unnecessary step. So anyway, my point being is that whenever you are cooking, if there is something that doesn't make sense, something that you don't have, or a step that you think is unnecessary, the beauty of cooking is making it your own and adapting, learning kind of the techniques and the tools, but also kind of making choices that make it easier on yourself, on your family, as you're prepping. So that was just something I thought I would add. I really love endive, so I'm gonna cut these in half. All right, so I am going to take some unsalted butter, as well as a few sprigs of thyme, as well as some sugar. So the sugar is going to mix with the butter and the thyme, and it's gonna help to caramelize the endive. Here I have my potatoes, they are parboiling. You never want to put salt in your water when you're cooking potatoes because it makes them more starchy. And you always want to use cold water rather than hot water, again, because using hot water will make them more starchy. So I'm adding these endive in. I'm going to leave these for a few moments until they get nice and caramelized. I have wiped off all the marinade of the steak because I don't want it to burn. And I'm gonna sear this for about 4 minutes on either side for medium rare. All right, I have drained my potatoes. I'm gonna add some butter. I'm gonna add some cream. I'm gonna keep the heat on low so they stay nice and warm. And I am literally just gonna take a fork and smash them. And you are good to go. I have let my steak rest, and I'm just going to give it a slice. I'm going to do a dollop here, nestle a little bit of butter in there. I'm going to take my steak, and then finally I've got my 2 pieces of endive. Take a little bit of thyme some flaky sea salt, fresh cracked pepper, and there you have it.